out and about in Kansas, a little bit west of Wichita, and my goal is to visit some towns that could be quantified as ghost towns. Some of them aren't there anymore, but there's also towns that are still there. Maybe they're unincorporated and they're just a shell of what they used to be. So all these towns are probably 100 miles or closer to Wichita, Kansas, where I'm from. So really, the only things left in Trousdale are this, I guess, used to be a gas station, there's an auto parts store, and there's a church, just a few houses. But this is tiny little Trousdale, unincorporated, and just a few people remaining. I don't think Hopewell was ever very big. I'm actually in the Hopewell cemetery here, and most of the headstones from the 1800s, there's a few in the last 50 years, but not very many. So Hopewell was always pretty small. What I read about it is that there was a bank in town, and that's, kind of was the main, thing that kind of kept the town running. And then the bank eventually left town, and when the bank left, there wasn't much left. The post office closed, and Hopewell was never really that much of a town. So there's hardly anything left. This is probably a true ghost town where there's nothing left. I'll show you a little bit of aerial view of what's left of Hopewell. Byers, Kansas is actually the first town today that is a still incorporated town. Official population at the last count was 35. So just missed my top 10 smallest towns in Kansas video I did a while back. In the 1960s, the women of the town took over the government from the men. So they were running, the mayor, the city council, and cleaned up the town and got everything kind of going, things that the guys couldn't get done. But eventually, just being kind of out in the remote area, they weren't able to do much about that, and the population has continued to dwindle. So it's a nice little town, and there's some nice places. So way to go, ladies, for getting everything fixed up in the 60s, and it's a nice little town. So, but population of 35, and while the definition of ghost town, it's not there's people here, there's a couple businesses, there's the fire departments over here across the street. So don't know if you want to quantify as ghost town, but definitely just much smaller than it probably was 100 years ago when it was founded. here in Zenith, Kansas. Now this is an interesting town. This is kind of a tale of two towns. There was originally a Zenith that was a small agricultural area that they had a railroad track kind of come this way, and the farmers could get their get everything they needed to the bigger towns. And then that was in like the 1800s. And then in the 1930s, as the town was kind of declining, oil was discovered in this area. And then Zenith, Kansas became a huge distributor of oil. And at one time there were over 200,000 barrels of oil a day coming from this little area of Kansas. There was oil derricks everywhere, over 100 oil derricks, and just a very busy time, and you call it a boom town. And that went through, World War II, and even when Kansas had, I've read that in the 1930s, the oil production went down in Kansas. Zenith actually went up. And so eventually, those things kind of dried up, and then people started moving away. We're right here on I-50, which is the road that's the backbone of America from California all the way over to the East Coast. So Zenith sits right here on I-50, and obviously was once a very, very busy place. Now there's a schoolhouse left. There's a really big grain elevator, a little bit of farming agriculture area, but there's not much left of Zenith.